So I mentioned IELTS advantage yesterday, right? And so I'm sharing a video. It's about 18 minutes long, so it's going to take up some time of your class. But over here, right, this is the speaking test, and this is one that would possibly score a band 9, which is like a perfect speaking score. But what I want you to notice is what the question is, and then how this person responds to the question, right? And so it's not just a yes or no or just a direct answer. They elaborate it, just like I tried to do yesterday. So, right, more of practice and demonstration for you how this goes on, and you can search this, right? So you can see the channel name over here, IELTS Advantage. You just search IELTS Advantage Speaking, as I have, and this is entire playlist which you can go through. You're going to get others as well. So there's, right, a lot of material online, and you also have, right, these shorts which tell you how you can improve, right? So a 6 is a mediocre score, and you can change that to a 9 by simply by the way you respond. So let's do this.
Let's talk about music. How often do you listen?
Right, so can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you can relate to this question, right? What type of music do you like listening to? It was from a warm-up, but still.
Listen to music.
I think I listen to music mostly when I'm driving. I think it puts me in such a good mood when I'm like out there on a drive and I play my favorite music. I'm usually into Afro music a lot, hip hop and Afro and R&B. So I prefer listening to music when I'm driving, or sometimes when I'm working out, I'm at the gym, something like that.
Is music an important subject in schools in your country?
In schools in my country, it is, because I'm from India, so in India, music and dance and expressing our emotions is usually through music and dancing. So in every school, they teach classical music, or they have a subject where there is something about music usually. So I think it is important.
Do you ever go to live concerts?
Oh, I've been to 3 concerts, and 3 of them are my favorite artists. And it was actually on my wish list, and I made it happen. And it was one of the best experiences. And in live concerts, it's a lot different than you would imagine. Just have to keep your energy straight, and it's like you can't believe it's happening.
Now let's talk about magazines.
Right, so you notice here the questions could be responded with yes or no, right? Have you ever been to a live concert? Yes, I have. Right? Is music an important subject in schools in your country? Yes, they are. And so you could just respond briefly, but that's not what the person's doing, right? They are responding with an elaborate answer. For example, why music is important in our country and how it's taught, and all those details. Or I've been to concerts and my experience at the concert, and how it is. So again, that is relevant information. It's not what was directly asked, but that is how you elaborate and expand on your response.
And newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer to read magazines or newspapers?
Definitely magazines, mostly on the topics of fashion or interior design. This is what I really like, because I like to see creative sides from all over the world. I like to see what people are talking about, what's new, what's trending. And I like to learn, like I like to have knowledge of things, of like, what is this called? What is that called? Because usually when you see pictures, you don't usually know what it's called. So when you read a magazine, or where you get the knowledge, that's where you get to know, oh, this fabric is called this, or this decoration is called that. So I think it's very good on information.
Do you think you can...
Again, just notice how she expanded her response. It was just like, do you prefer magazines or newspapers? Right? And she did say, well, I prefer magazines. And she goes on to explain why are magazines her preference, and what she finds interesting in them or informative. Right? And so this is a trend that you will see throughout. So I'm going to stop interrupting after every question and just let you experience this.
learn as much from a magazine as a book?
Definitely not, because magazine is like a shorter version of what's in a book. So I definitely prefer books over magazines.
Do you think that you will continue to read?
Sorry, I did say I won't interrupt, but for just that one. Now, sometimes, as you noticed in this particular response, it was short. So, right, sometimes your response is short. But again, she didn't just go like, oh, I prefer books. She did give a reason why she preferred books over magazines, but it was not very elaborate, right? So, a short response that is, a bit beyond just a yes or no response is also works, right? But you want to give as much relevant information as you possibly can.
Paper-based magazines in the future?
I think I'm very old fashioned like that. I need to have a physical book in my hand, and that's how I think it produces serotonin in my brain. Otherwise, no. Digital, it's very different. I like physically reading a magazine or a book.
Now let's talk about outdoor activities. Do you like being outdoors?
I love being outdoors. I usually spend my time planning an activity or just being out with my friends. Even if I'm not doing anything, I must stay outdoors. I'm not a very home-based person. Like I can't stay home much. I have to keep moving all the time.
Which outdoor sports do you enjoy doing?
I like going out with my friends and playing football or some kind of activity like swimming, going to the beach. This is something I really, really enjoy.
Which outdoor activities are most popular in your country?
Definitely, it's like the game of India. Everybody loves cricket. When you go out of your house, you're always going to see like some kids playing or also badminton, actually. People enjoy that a lot as well. I'd like to describe my favorite actor and actress. So my favorite.
This is part two, and right, it's similar to what you would find in your speaking assessment. Again, level of the IELTS is different, but something we can relate to and something we can learn from. Also, I want you to notice, right, her confidence. She's not stuttering. She's not getting stuck. Right. Her tone is calm and her pace is rather, it's relatively slow, right? She's not rushing, as I mentioned yesterday, right? And that really helps. And it's not about using impressive vocabulary. You're digging out words from the thesaurus. That's not the point. The point is that you are fluent, you have good pronunciation, and you've got a decent vocabulary set that would qualify as standard English. Right now, I did mention that earlier, and I referred you, I believe, to the Oxford word list. So you can go and check that again. And, you look at that list, the Oxford 3000, the Oxford 5000, and most of those words are ones that are not, archaic words or, less used words. They're very common words, and you recognize most of them. But it's using them that's really going to give you the edge. All right, let's continue. And I am continuing to interrupt, so I'll try and not do that.
Actor will be Benedict Cumberbatch, and my favorite actress is Angelina Jolie. And I like their movies so much. They usually star in action films or mystery films, and that's very similar to where I am. Like in my personal life, I love mysterious stuff. I'm like always into like detective theories or mystery books and stuff like that. So I always watch movies as such, and their acting is on point. It's always number one. And I like Angelina Jolie also for her humanitarian work that she does throughout her life. She's been very present with charity work and making sure that a lot of kids are fed in countries which are unfortunate. And I really like that about her. And I also like how fierce she is. And when she presents herself, it's very divine feminine. So I really, really like that. And I feel like she has that sort of energy where a woman can feel powerful about herself just by looking at her and kind of understanding where she comes from. She doesn't really come from a very mentally stable place, but now at this point in her life, she's a very strong woman, and she's done it all herself. And Benedict Cumberbatch, I actually watched his TV show, which was called Sherlock, and I am a crazy Sherlock fan. I love mystery, like I said, and detective stories and everything. And him playing that really showed me what kind of an incredible actor he is, because I felt like I'm watching Sherlock Holmes from the books and not an actor on screen. And he's also done a movie that I really love. It's called Doctor Strange. That's my favorite superhero from the Avengers. And he has just done an amazing job in that movie.
So we've been talking about a famous actress and actor that you enjoy, and we're going to continue to talk about movies and theatre. What are the most popular types of movies in your country?
It would be...
To thank you for watching this video, I want to give you a free course that has helped thousands every single part, and also to sign up for that. Back to the video.
It would has to do with emotional connection. It's usually
So sorry to interrupt,
fictional.
but I wanted to ask whether we will be watching the video in today's class or will be speaking.
Well, if you have a good idea of how to respond to the questions yet, then I'll just move on to practice. The reason I'm sharing the video is so that you get an idea of how you're supposed to attempt the questions, how you're supposed to respond to them. So if you're okay with that, then I can stop the video and we can move to practice.
I'm okay with both.
Right, so I guess, I'll stop the video for now. This is part 3, which is similar to part 3 of your speaking assessment for 0510 and 0511. Right? And so they're following on the short talk with the discussion, so some questions that are loosely related to those. Right? And so you get the general idea of how the response should be. So I'm going to switch back to the test PDF for speaking assessment. Can you see the PDF now?
Yes.
Okay. So Aima, your turn again. Right, and we start this warm-up question 1. Where do you live?
Okay, so I live in Saudi Arab, and basically the city where I live in, it's near to the capital of the Saudi, which is Riyadh. My city name is Al Kharaj. It's basically like I can say that Al Kharaj, the city where I live, is basically like the shorter version of Riyadh. The population is less, the area is less, but it's still not like a village type. It's still a commercial city.
Okay, so that is a much better response. What did you do during your last holiday?
My last holidays, I went to my grandma's house. Basically, my grandma lives in the Riyadh. Riyadh and Al Kharaj is basically like having a distance of like 2 hours, not that much, so we can actually go anytime we want. But we still prefer to go when it's holidays because my other uncles, aunties, all of my relatives basically gather in my grandma's house. So this is where I went
Okay.
last holiday.
What subject do you most enjoy at school?
In my school, I enjoy the most, I think, physics because I really like solving physics. I think physics is something like it's having a theory, it's having numericals, but again, maths is also similar. But for me, maths is like so much, it's like so many numbers, so many complications. But in physics, basically, there is a theory to each and everything. And for me, I think physics is like a different language of a universe. It's same as maths though, but it's still having, for me, physics makes more sense than maths. It's my personal choice.
All right, good. All right, so right now we are just focusing on being able to expand on your response. Right now, I'm not pointing out grammatical errors or the way you're forming your sentences. That is not the focus at the moment. The focus is to get you to speak. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. So part 1, the interview, right? The actual assessment, and these are questions about shopping. So
my favorite place to shop is this mall near my home. It's like 15 kilometers away, but it's still, I would call it near because in my home is like in the industrial area, so it's pretty far from the commercial area. But for me, I really like this place. It's called Al Wafa. Basically, all the things are available in that shop. You can get from oats, from food items to stationery items, each and everything is available at a very reasonable price. So I think I really like that shop. I go to shop like usually at Saturdays when it's my school off.
Okay. Now, can you tell me about something you bought recently and why you bought it?
Okay, so I bought this dress from the same shop that I've been talking about, Al Wafa. This red, beautiful dress. It's sort of like a gown, but I still would call it a dress. I bought it for my friend's birthday. My friend's birthday is coming up in like September 26th. So I really wanted to wear something red. Actually, the party theme was also red. So I bought the red dress, the red heels, and the red jewelry to match.
All right. And do you think all shopping will be online in the future? Why or why not?
I think most of the shopping would be online in the future because nowadays I've been searching through that. I wanted yesterday actually I was looking for a couch for my bedroom, but the thing was that the shop was away in Riyadh. The shop was on Riyadh, so I was looking at the shop on website, and I selected a very beautiful cozy white sofa for my bed. But the thing was that I didn't know where to place it. I didn't know the placement of it or how big it is in the size. So I just opened the app, and in the app, I saw a feature which was to open your camera and they will match it. They will take the sofa and match it. So I basically took out the camera and placed the sofa very it's very technical. So I placed the sofa beside my bed. So I used to think that when shopping comes in the mind, the most of the thing would be done in online because again, furniture shopping, I don't think it can be done online. But now, since I saw this feature, I changed my mind. I think it also can be done online.
Okay. Now that is a very detailed response, right? So good. Now keep in mind again, right? I heard you throughout, right? I let you complete. In the like obviously this is a very first attempt, but in case right you really get into the mood during your actual assessment, again we have time. But if that happens and the examiner stops you, that does not mean you did something wrong. That just means that the examiner needs to move on to the next question. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. So here's part two, the short talk. Right. The topic is moving house. Question, as you can see, your family are planning to move house and are considering the following options: an apartment in the city or a house on the countryside. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of each option. Say which one you would prefer and why. Right now, for this one, you normally have a minute to think about your response. Right, so go ahead. Unfortunately, something glitching with my recorder, so I won't be able to pause. Right, so take a minute and then we'll hear your response.
Okay, sir. Sir, I'm done.
All right, so let's hear your response.
Okay, if my family is moving house in an apartment in a city or a house in a countryside, I would prefer staying in an apartment in a city because I never have been into a house in a countryside. Neither of any of my relatives, by the way. This is actually a fact to know because we usually have this faith in the family that if you are having apartment in your life, it's pretty easy to manage everything. Like for us, there's like a myth in our family. It's true though that if you will take a house in a countryside, you will be alone. You wouldn't be away with the people. You will be very alone. There will be no neighbors, no friends, no relatives. But in an apartment, if we take, there would be a lot of apartments, a lot of people within living in the apartment. So I think I would select apartment because again I think that I would be having more neighbors or more friends in the apartment rather than living in a countryside house.
Okay, now, right, just to point it out, right, uh, the point, the ideas that you presented in your talk, there was repetition, right? So you went on and mentioned the same thing twice or thrice. Uh, Obviously, that's not something we want because that doesn't count as new material. But again, right? So yeah, it's first time. Uh, it's something, right? This is one of the challenging questions because you have this scenario that's given to you, and you're expected to talk for 2 minutes or straight, right? And so, right, the more we practice, and right, the channel that I shared with you, IELTS Advantage on YouTube, right, benefit from that one, and general knowledge, right? So you can use like you did, right, real life experiences or beliefs or myths or stuff like that, but general knowledge, right? So the more you know, the easier it becomes to talk on a topic. All right.
सर मैंने इसके बारे में कभी सोचा नहीं है सो दिस इज व्हाट जो भी मेरे दिमाग में आया मैंने बस बोल दिया.
So right, I understand that, right? And so again, right, I'm not like saying I very well understand that, right? And that's why I'm saying that, right, for the speaking at least you have to start thinking about things, the questions that you come, and don't wait for, I mean, you could go through the speaking papers and look at the questions and research. Could do that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's part of preparation, and so that will give you topics to look up general knowledge on, right? And topics to think about. So if you're coming in, if you've researched a particular assessment and I'm testing you on it, and you give a good response, that's very good. Now the more you research, right, the better you will get, and so hopefully you will have enough general information, general knowledge, and you've thought about so many different topics in different ways that if you're presented with a new scenario, right, you'll be able to manage it. Another thing you will notice is as the more you practice for the speaking, the topics sort of they, I wouldn't say they're repetitive. Yes, but I can hear you. So that I wouldn't say repetitive, but they're sort of linked. So for example, there's a paper where they're talking about the conservation of water, right, and energy and stuff like that. And then there's another paper where they're talking about the use of electricity at home. So it's sort of linked, right? The conservation of electricity in terms of conservation and the use of electricity at home. And so if you research one of these, you can, right, and you're presented with a topic that's somehow related to one that you've done earlier, then you can link that and you can use information and then you can build on it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Discussion. Do you think that children should be involved in making the decision about moving house?
Yes, I think so because children are having their own life, their own friends, their own perspective of thinking. So I think children should also be involved in making decisions about moving house. Like There are a lot of children who but make decisions but don't be like, I want this type of room. I want a room beside the hall. Don't make such decisions. Only make decisions about moving house. But not don't be too choosy about rooms or stuff. This is what most of the children do.
All right. There is an opinion that people who live in the city and people who live in the countryside are different. What do you think?
Yes. No, I don't really think anything like that because I think both of them are same. They're just living in different sites or in different places. That doesn't really change their personality after all. Or I could say that maybe people living in countryside house are not that social because again, in my perspective, if you're living in a countryside house, you are basically having like less neighbors. So your social life it's not like that big. You're someone who really likes to live alone. So I think maybe they're not.
In many cultures, older family members live with the younger family members. Do you think this is a good idea?
Yes, I absolutely agree. This is actually a good idea. In my culture, it's still the same that once the parents get old, they basically have to live with your children. And I think this is basically really nice if you would think it like this way that children are basically when children were young parents were taking care of them, they were doing their duty, but now when children are older, younger, I mean older, adult, and parents are very old, they need support, they need care as like a children do. So now it's children's duty to take care of them.
And finally, many people think it is a good idea to live in different countries if you can. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree. I think living in one country is great. Why? Because there are a lot of factors. For example, expenses. There are a lot of expenses. Each and every country is having their own economic issues, own economic expenses. And living from one country to another country would also, disturb your life. For example, if a children is living in first Australia and then they shift to Canada, their friends, their schools would be, it wouldn't be stable. It would be changing constantly. In this way, student can't get any emotional connection with any of the friends or can't understand anything particularly. And the curriculum would also change. So I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
And you-
Thank you. Right, so
Welcome.
you really tried to, open up your responses, and
Yeah.
that is what we are aiming at the moment, right? Once we get into this mode, then we'll work on, grammatical correctness and vocabulary and structure. All right, Afan, we do have time. Are you up for a, you know, run for the speaking assessment?
Yes,
Okay, I'll need you to speak up for this. Also, right, I'm giving you the option. Would you want to try the same speaking assessment or would you want to go for a different one?
yes, I'm okay with both, but I'm telling you that my internet is not working that good right now. I might disconnect while I'm speaking.
I mean, that's something we have no control over, right? So that's okay. No issues. All right, so I'll move on to a different one, right? Speaking assessment C. Okay, so starting with you, Afan, the warm up. Can you tell me about your friends? Afan, can you hear me? Hello? Anyone there? Unfortunately, I believe he just disconnected. He did just warn me about it. Okay. So I guess we'll have to stop there.